There was such a pretty little fir tree standing in the wood. It grew in a good place, able to catch the sun, getting plenty of fresh air, and many bigger companions grew round about, both firs and pines. But the little fir tree was so impatient to grow. It thought nothing of the warm sunshine and the fresh air. It cared nothing for the village children, prattling away as they gathered strawberries or raspberries. Oh, if only I were such a big tree like the others, sighed the little tree. I'd be able to spread my branches right out and from my top see the wide, wide world. The birds would come and build their nests in my branches, and when the wind blew, I'd be able to nod grandly as they all do. It got no pleasure at all out of the sunshine, or the birds, or the crimson clouds which sailed over its head in the morning and evening. Often in the winter time, when the snow lay glistening white all around, a hare would come bounding along and leap right over the little tree, and how that did annoy it. But 2 winters went by, and by the 3rd, the tree was so big that the hare had to go around it. Oh, to grow, to get big and old. That was the only nice thing in all the world, thought the tree. Be glad of your youth, said the sunbeams. Be glad of your healthy growth, of that young life that's in you. And the wind kissed the tree, and the dew shed tears over it. But the fir tree didn't understand. Now at Christmas time, quite young trees would be felled, trees which often were not even as big or as old as this fir tree, which knew neither peace nor rest, but was forever wanting to push on. These young trees, and they were the nicest of all, were always left with their branches on. They were placed on wagons and pulled off out of the wood by horses. Where are they going? Asked the fir tree. They're no bigger than I am, and one of them was even a lot smaller. Why are they left with all their branches on? Where are they going to? We'll tell you where, chirruped the sparrows. We've been in the town looking in through the window. We know where they go to. Why, they go to the greatest honor and glory that you can think of. We've peeped in through the windows and seen them planted in the middle of the warm room and decorated with the loveliest of things. Golden apples, gingerbread, toys, and hundreds of candles. And then, asked the fir tree, trembling in all its branches, and then? What happens then? Oh, that's all we saw. It was marvelous. I wonder if I was born for this glorious life, thought the tree joyfully. Oh, I'm just dying for it. I do wish it was Christmas. I'm as tall and spreading as the ones that were taken away last year. Oh, if only I were on the wagon now. I do wish I were in the warm room with all the honor and glory, and then... Why, then there'll be something even better, even finer. Or why should they decorate me so? There must be something even greater, even grander, but what? Oh, I'm yearning, I'm pining, I can't think what's come over me. Be glad of me, said the air and the sunshine. Be glad of your healthy youth here in the open. But it wasn't a bit glad, although it grew and grew. Winter and summer, it was always green, dark green. And people who saw it said, ah, there's a nice tree. And at Christmas, it was the first to be felled. The axe cut deep into its marrow, and it fell with a sigh to the ground, feeling a pain and a faintness, and quite unable to think of anything happy. It was so sad that the thought of parting from home, from the spot where it had grown up, knowing that it would never more see its dear old companions, the little bushes and the flowers that grew round it, or even perhaps the birds. Why, going away wasn't a bit pleasant. It came to itself in the yard when, unloaded along with the other trees, it heard a man say, "That's a beauty, we'll have that one." Then 2 servants in full dress came and took the tree into a lovely big room. Tonight, they said, tonight it's going to be all lit up. Oh, thought the tree, if only it was tonight. If only the lights would soon go on, and I wonder what will happen then. Will trees come from the wood to look at me, I wonder? Will the sparrows fly about the window, I wonder? Shall I grow fast here and stand decorated, winter and summer, I wonder? Oh, yes, it had the right ideas, but the sheer longing had given it a proper barkache. And barkache is just as bad for a tree as headache is for us. Well, at last the candles were lit. What splendor, what magic! The glory of it made the tree tremble in every limb, so much so that one of the candles set fire to the greenery. It hurt horribly. Goodness gracious, cried the young ladies, hastening to put it out. The tree was too frightened even to tremble now. It was really horrid. He was so afraid of losing some of its finery and was quite bewildered by all the glory. And then, all at once, the folding doors were opened, and a crowd of children came rushing in as though they would upset the whole tree. The older people quietly followed them. The little ones stood perfectly still, but only for a moment. And then they all shouted for joy, making the whole place ring with their cries. They danced round the tree while presents were picked off one after another. What are they up to, thought the tree? What's going to happen? The candles burned right down to the branches, and as they did so, they were blown out, and afterwards the children were allowed to strip the tree. The way they rushed at it, making it creak in all its branches. If it hadn't been fastened to the ceiling by its tip and its golden star, it would have crashed. A story, cried the children, pulling a fat little man over towards the tree. Imsy whimsy, cried some. Willy-nilly, cried others. There never was such shouting and screaming. Only the fir tree held its tongue, thinking to itself, don't I come in here? Don't I have a part to play? Well, of course it had been in it. It had played its part. And then the man told the story of Willy-nilly, who fell downstairs, yet came out on top and married the princess. And the children clapped their hands and shouted, go on, wanting Imsy-Whimsy as well, but getting only Willy-nilly. The fir tree stood perfectly still and full of thought. The birds in the wood had never told anything of this sort. Willy-nilly fell downstairs, yet married the princess. Ah, yes, that's the way of the world, thought the fir tree, believing the story to be true because such a nice man had told it. Ah, yes. Who knows? Perhaps I shall fall downstairs and marry a princess. And it looked forward to being dressed in candles and toys and in golden fruit the next day.